Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Question says, as-salatu fi at-ta'irati lil-farida. What's the ruling on offering the fard prayer on an airplane? Al-jawabu la yajuzu illa idha khashiya fawat al-waqt كما إذا خشي أن تغيب الشمس وهو لم يصلي الظهر والعصر فإنه يصليها في الطائرة، أو خشي أن تطلع الشمس وهو ما صلى الفجر صلاها في الطائرة ولو على سريره ولو على كرسيه إن لم يجد متسعا. Answer says, it is unlawful to make the fard prayer on an airplane unless a person is afraid that the time will go out. A person is scared. He thinks in most cases it's not going to be enough time for the plane to land, for me to get out of customs, etc. The sun will set and I didn't make dhuhr or asr. Or the sun will rise and I didn't offer fajr. So in this instance, when a person is scared and afraid that the time will go out, he is allowed, he must pray on the airplane, even if he's lying down or even if he's sitting down, if that's his only option, if that's his only choice. This fatwa was given by Shaykh Abdullah Jibreen, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon him. And a few things to notice and to pay attention to. First and foremost is the Muslim knowing well the prerequisites of salah, and the Muslim knowing well the arkan, the pillars of the salah, the necessary pieces. So, a condition, a shart, obviously in English, prerequisite, a condition, something that comes beforehand. From that is facing the qibla. So that's your first challenge on an airplane. You are not allowed, in most cases, Allahu alam, sometimes you may be traveling to the east, etc. Oftentimes, in most cases, you're not going to be able to face the qibla. So that's a shart, that's a condition, that's a prerequisite. Another prerequisite of the salah is prayer on time. You have to pray during the proper time. Regardless whether you combine dhuhr and asr, maghrib and isha, what's important is it has to be in the time. So I'm waiting to find the qibla, I'm waiting to land, it's turbulence, etc., etc., etc. That's all pertaining to your time. Also, from the pillars, the arkan of the salat, not the prerequisites, is al-qiyamu ma'al qudra, is having the ability to stand. If you can stand, you must stand. 99% of the time on an airplane, you're going to be sitting down, unless you walk to the bathroom, wait for the bathroom, use the bathroom, etc. And even that is going to be a time which some people may or may not sit down. But the majority of your flight, you're going to be sitting down, waiting to be seated. Someone's putting their stuff, their stowaway, this and that, getting up. You're tired of sitting down. The airplane has landed. You're waiting to get off. But the majority of the duration, you're going to be sitting. So there are several problems that you're going to face traveling and offering prayer. So therefore, you as the general basic Muslim, the 9 to 5 Muslim, you must know enough of the basics. And you yourself have to discern and gamble and shift the pieces. What do I do? Right now, I can't make wudu, I can't stand up, I can face the qibla, but kada, you have to prioritize. And oftentimes, a person is stuck between a rock and a hard place, such as you don't have water for wudu, but the time is going to go out. What do I do? Wait until I get the water, or make tayammum on time? Both of them are conditions. Both of them are prerequisites. What's important is the prayer, the mandatory prayer, the fard prayer, has to be made, unless, etc., etc., etc. And there is no unless, because you can always pray. If you have to sit down, if you have to lie down, if you have to pray with your eyes, if you have to pray with your heart, the fard prayer is never ever to be abandoned. And when you travel, especially if you're on a Middle Eastern airline or a Turkish airline or whatever type of airline, and the majority of the people come from Islamic or Muslim backgrounds, you see how scary it is when you're the only person praying, when there are only 2 people praying, and the flight is 8 hours, 13 hours, 12 hours, and you ask yourself, what's going on? No one's making salah, whether it's a musalla on the airplane or not. It's extremely scary. And there are different reasons behind this. Oftentimes, this is a very common reason. Many people, they don't make salat because they don't hijab. What are the chances of a woman pulling her hijab out her bag to put on for prayer? And she's dialed up and dressed up with perfume and makeup and wearing a skirt and high heels. What are the chances of that? Wait, stop, let me go in my bag, put everything on and pray. It may happen, but in most cases, it's extremely rare. So a person may want to pray, or I'll pray if you pray, but I don't have my clothes. And the same applies to brothers. I've seen it as well. Brother has on short shorts, a short shirt. He's sweating. He was working out. He was doing this. And he says, I can't pray right now because I'm sweating. I can't pray right now because I have on short shorts. So your wardrobe, your dress code, your lifestyle, your prayer, they go what? It's a fact. They go hand in hand. You shouldn't be wearing that stuff like that outside in the first place. And if you are wearing that stuff outside in the first place, then at least have enough dignity to have an izar, or even, listen, for argument's sake, you have to fake it until you make it. Pull the hijab out the bag, put on a scarf, and pray. That's better than you missing the prayer, which could lead to a person not being a Muslim. All right? So that's first and foremost. That's food for thought. And the Prophet ﷺ clearly said that Islam began as something strange, and it will return as something strange. And you feel strange all of the time. Even in Muslim lands, you feel strange. But when you travel on an airplane, you really, really feel the tight crunch of strangeness. Whereas you're the only person on the airplane even thinking about it's prayer time. You're the only person in the airport dressed like this, or so on and so forth, right? So be mindful of that. What's important is that you have to be mindful of time. When the plane takes off, when the plane is supposed to land, you have to give a cushion or window for, like I said, turbulence. Sometimes the plane doesn't take off, it's ice. All types of things can happen when you travel. So you have to be mindful of the prayer times. I'm going to make Dhuhr and Asr in the time for Dhuhr, or I'm going to make Dhuhr and Asr in the time of Asr. The time zones. Fajr will be when? I'm in the mid-Atlantic right now. When is Fajr? You travel from New York City to Europe or Egypt. What time is Fajr? And the flight is at 9 p.m. from JFK. When is Fajr? When do you make Fajr? This is a serious question. Do you pray Fajr? What do you do? New York City Fajr, 4:30. I left JFK at 9 p.m. Where am I going to be on the Eastern time zone? How far am I going to be across the Atlantic?
You have to come 7 hours?
7 hours. He says 7 hours. Anybody else? What time zone do I go by when I'm across the Atlantic?
That time that you're there.
Where are you?
I'll ask the pilot.
So you got to do a little bit of what?
Research.
Right. Well, what country will I be in 5 hours, in 4 hours? What's the closest country to me? What's the closest time zone to me? Etc. Right? And oftentimes you see how quickly, how fast the sun rises and sets, like Allah says in the Quran, is that it seeks it, hadithan. It chases it up. Next thing you know, it's dark. Next thing you know, boom, light. You ever experienced that on an airplane?
No.
So you have to do a little bit of homework